Welcome to another ANOVA video. This time we'll be introducing you to the basics of what a two-way mixed model ANOVA is, when it's appropriate to use, and the assumptions associated with running this test. You should all be familiar with what a two-way ANOVA is by now. A two-way mixed model ANOVA is very similar. However, the two independent variables have been split on two factors. This means that one of the independent variables is a within subjects factor and the other independent variable is a between subjects factor. So in other words, one variable will look at comparing between groups or take upon an independent measures design, and the other variable will utilize a repeated measures design. So that means that they're comparing the same group of individuals across different points in time or conditions. Just like a two-way ANOVA, a mixed model ANOVA is used to understand if there's an interaction between these two independent variables on the dependent variable. So it examines main effects and interactions. A quick reminder about what main effects and interactions is. You guys should already be familiar with this after having done two-way ANOVAs before. Main effects examines one factor at a time while ignoring the other factor, whereas interactions examine both independent variables at the same time. You'll also be familiar with a simple effects analysis. A quick reminder that a simple effects analysis can be used when you get a significant interaction between two or more variables. It's like the equivalent of a post hoc test, and it'll look at the effects of one independent variable at one level of the other independent variable and then repeating this process for all other levels. Here are some research examples where it may be appropriate to use a two-way mixed model ANOVA. The dependent variable for the first question is the levels of migraine pain, and the two independent variables are type of medication and time. So this makes type of medication used as our between subjects factor, and the time variable is the within subjects factor. How about for example 2? Can you identify the dependent variable and the two independent variables? The dependent variable is stress level, and the two independent variables are age and time. So once again, time is our within subjects factor, and the between subjects factor is age group. There are a number of assumptions associated with the mixed model ANOVA. The first two assumptions are methodological. Interval ratio data just means that the dependent variable must be at least measured on an interval or ratio scale. Independence just means that participants should only participate once in the study and shouldn't influence the participation of others. The next three assumptions, normality, homogeneity variance, and sphericity, are all testable through SPSS. Normality, as you'll already be familiar with, looks at whether the dependent variable is approximately normally distributed for every combination of the levels of the two independent variables. Homogeneity of variance assumes that there's an equal amount of variability between scores in each combination of the groups across the two independent variables. And the last assumption looks at sphericity. This is related to the within subjects factor and assumes that for each main effect or interaction, the variability in differences between any pair of conditions be the same as the variability in differences between all other pairs of conditions. So now you know the basics of what a two-way mixed model ANOVA entails. You can see that it's very similar to any other two-way ANOVA, however, it just combines both a repeated and independent measures design within it.